Guys, are you tired of your rough and rigid jeans leaving you uncomfortable and stiff? Or oversized jeans that you feel like you're swimming in? Well, today's sponsor, The Perfect Jean, has finally solved your denim difficulties. They make great looking, perfect fitting jeans that are as comfortable as sweatpants. Their secret? A special denim fabric that is super soft and has the perfect amount of stretch. So you can squat, you can do yoga, or you can just sit around in them all day and have maximum comfort. They make 6 different fits, from skinny to thick. They have a waist from 26 to 50 and a length from 26 to 38. So big boys, short kings, all the rest, they got you. For a limited time, I'm going to get our listeners, you guys, 15% off plus free shipping on your first order at theperfectjean.nyc with my promo code Chael15. These jeans are a game changer, and I can't believe how great they look without compromising any comfort. It's finally time to get yourself some new denim. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use code Chael15 at checkout. Or just click on the link below. Eddie Hearn had made a statement. You gotta listen when Eddie talks. Eddie really does understand the business. And Eddie's one of the guys. When we talk about, hey, there's 5 people alive that know how to make $1 in combat, Eddie's in that 5. Eddie's old man was in that 5. And genuinely speaking, when I hear Eddie telling the media something that the UFC should do, something that Dana White specifically had better do, I always get skeptical that he's putting out misinformation, that he's being competitive, that he's trying to say something about a rival, not caring whether that hurts or hinders the rival, just wants to make sure that it reflects positively upon himself. That's generally what I'm trying to listen to. And Eddie Hearn is not a fool when it comes to pay-per-view. Not to mention, pay-per-view is shifting drastically. Not to mention, and I should mention in front of everything else, pay-per-view as boxing knows it today is going to resemble a lot of what boxing knew in pay-per-view 10 years ago, 2014. Pay-per-view that MMA knows today does not resemble in the slightest pay-per-view of MMA from a decade ago. So, when Eddie comes out in this particular case, he's talking about Conor McGregor. It says for the UFC, hey, pay him whatever he wants. Get the deal done. Whatever it takes, you've got to do what's best for sport at times. And Conor McGregor is best for sport. It's like, well, he's not wholly incorrect. I mean, Red Panty Night has been a real theme. Red Panty Night has not been surpassed. It hasn't gone away, but the one other notion that the UFC has, and you get reminded of this over and over and over again. You were reminded of it within the disappointment that you felt at UFC 300. You get reminded that Dana White will not do anything unless that something has a reasonable chance to bounce into something else. Everything must be a springboard, right? Every idea Dana drops onto a trampoline, whoop, and it shoots up. If it ever drops onto a vortex and it stays, or it cuts a hole in the trampoline and falls into the ground, like, it's just not going to happen. It must lead to something else. The potential and the possibility of doing something, no matter how wonderful, that can grow into something even more wonderful. And that's where one of the problems, if not the number one problem with McGregor, comes from. McGregor versus Chandler would be a fight about nothing. That wasn't always true. At one point, it was just going to be a grudge match. It was going to be a big match. It was going to be a feud. They were going to be partners. Partners in the fact that they were opposing one another on a very great television show that has been, to this point in time, the greatest marketing vehicle our sport has ever seen, The Ultimate Fighter. And when that came and left, we still could have kept that alive if it had been genuine. It wasn't overly genuine. And we knew it wasn't overly genuine just by the fact that Conor McGregor called out 8 other people since. Michael Chandler has called out nobody else. He stayed laser focused on Conor. But Chandler had no reasons for calling out Conor, aside from the fact that I was told it's going to be Conor. And the people that told me I don't believe will lie to me, I believe they can make it happen. I believe if I wait, I believe I will have Conor. Those aren't reasons to fight. Those are not fighting terms. I'm mad at you and I'm going to fight you. Why? Because he told me that I could. Okay, now it sounds like you got something to do with him. Why are you mad at me? Because he told me that you and I were going to fight. So, yeah, I know, I heard you the first time. That's not a reason for us to fight. Is he now lying to you? It sounds like maybe I got to beat his ass and maybe you got to beat his ass. But what are you and I getting mad at? And that's wherein lies the problem. So when Conor McGregor looks in different directions, as recently as right now, and guys, I've got to disclose, I just got back from Riyadh. When I was in Riyadh, I had very meaningful conversations that I'm not allowed to tell you guys about. But McGregor versus Pacquiao is being sought right now, and it's down to a weight class. That's it. And Conor's being very honest about how low he is not willing to go. But that also sheds some light on what Conor's going to do in MMA. Okay, we're not going to see Conor in MMA in anything less than 170 pounds. Now, based on the conversations I just had with people, we don't have him at 170 yet. He has not agreed to box Manny Pacquiao as low as 170, at least not yet. So very relevant that I tell you comfortably in MMA he's not returning at less than 170, and he's not joking about the 185. The question becomes, if you weigh 185 pounds and you stand 5'9" and you haven't won a fight in a period of time, then you're not actually on a championship run. And I don't actually need you to be on a championship run. I just need to be able to sell the idea that you're on a championship run. If I cannot sell that idea, how do I make the fight? And that is one of the big spots that they're in. Like, Eddie Hearn isn't totally wrong. I meet guys all the time. Tell me what a great job they would do. They should be president of the UFC. They do such a great job. Here's what I would do. I put Conor McGregor against George Masvidal for the BMF belt. And the winner gets a shot at Islam with Khabib in his corner. All of a sudden you're going, yeah, okay, yeah, everything you said makes money. Like, you haven't told me an idea yet that isn't monetizable. But anybody can sell a Ferrari. You got to be able to move the Volkswagen Jetta off the lot. One thing has to lead to another, leads to another. It's not a book, it's a story. It's not just a story within a book. It's going to be a series within 7 books that people are seeking the rights to distribution and to turn into a movie. Those are the ideas that you're looking for. I want to see Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Why? On a real human level, why? Because Michael Chandler's really nice to me. That's why. When I talk to Michael Chandler, he talks nicely back to me and has for many years. Before he was a big star, he was a kind person to me. He was nice to my wife. And I know he wants to fight Conor McGregor, so I want that for him. I can't do any more than that. I don't know what weight they're fighting at, but I also don't argue they should fight here or there. Because neither here nor there or the other one matters. It wouldn't affect rankings. The winner doesn't draw into knee-deep in a feud, knee-deep in a top 5 clash. The loser isn't automatically eligible for retirement. When you talk about fights with big stakes, they're not just titles. People always get this confused. It's not just titles, it's not just championships, and it's not just number 1 contenderships and or rankings. The fall has to also be drastic. If you're in a fight that has consequence, if you're in a big fight, then you have consequence. If those consequences stay level or go up, you're not in a big fight. It's the one piece that matchmakers and promoters and media alike, they miss it. It happens right in front of them. They don't know why. They don't know why they don't have that same feel inside. Well, it could have been promoted differently. Well, this wasn't promoted enough. They'll think and they'll believe those things. But an ingredient that you must have, if McGregor and Chandler are going to fight, you got 2 ways to go with it. And everybody's trying to go with, well, what's up? Conor could fight for a title today. Chandler could fight for a title today if he could just beat the guy that they were going to let fight for a title. It starts to get tough and you don't start to believe it when you forget to look the other way. Because if I don't beat him, I'll retire. Boom. Now you just sunk it. You didn't sink the fight. You just sunk the discrepancy. Now you got yourself a big fight. So who amongst us is willing to take the risk? I don't know what the winner of Chandler or McGregor gets. I don't know what the loser of Chandler or McGregor has happened to them. But those are the two guys, and if we're going to make the fight, and we want to make it a big fight, then one of those two guys has to tell us what are the stakes.